T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. I am your host, editor-in-chief of Women's Wrestling Talk, Drian Santana. And of course, I'm not alone. I have, of course, Stephanie Hardy with me, Queen Steph Hardy of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. What's going on, Stephanie? Happy Friday. Happy Smackdown. Rampage. Ring of Honor Day. You're on mute. Let's see.
Oh God, that's the second time this happened to me. I'm sorry, you guys. I am so happy to be here with you on what turned out to be a crazy day in wrestling, like a crazy historic day, a crazy, just crazy day, girl. I'm just happy to be here, to talk to you about it and everything else that went on tonight and all of the above. Like, there's no one that I'd rather be sharing this time with right now. So yeah.
Let's kind of go ahead into it. I think we got to put one out for our homies. One of our big dog, big OG, big homie. You already know what I'm talking about. Like, let's kind of go ahead and jump right in. Big homie Vincent Kennedy, Jacavian McMahon has officially retired from being the CEO of WWE. At this time, the homies, they didn't put out the whole barbecue celebration. They didn't pull one out for them, big 40s all around. And of course, it's an interesting day because I never thought that we would get to this point where people have been wishing and have been wanting Vince McMahon to just go ahead and retire. Just go ahead and retire. He needs to retire and move on and let other people be in charge. And there were some happy people and there were some sad people and there were some grateful people and thankful people. People who, a lot of wrestlers who pretty much some of them got their start in WWE. Thank Vince along the way. Not everybody has had a bad experience with Vince. But that's with anybody. Like sometimes you have good experiences with people. Sometimes you have bad experiences with people. I don't know. It was wild. And now, Stephanie is, and I guess Nick Khan are co-CEO now. Triple H, he's back in being head of talent relations, which I think is amazing. It's a sad day and it's a happy day because this is a man who literally had, different eras and decades of wrestling. You watch your father, start a company, your granddad started a company, your great granddad started a company. and you end up having your own legacy of children who are able to still run your company, even though he's still alive, and while he could be going and so on and so forth. So I mean, Stephanie, when you heard about Vince McMahon making this tweet that he's officially retiring, like what did you think? What did you think it was real? Did you think it was fake? Do you think he was just gonna come out here and say welcome to SmackDown again? Or what?
Well, Sam, I was on my way out of work when I got the news. I got the text from my own father, from Bleacher Report, and I was just like, "Huh?" Because I know that stuff like this would not have come up unless it was something real to it, simply because of the fact of everything that's been happening over the past month.
Mm-hmm.
It's like little by little you heard story after story and nugget after nugget, and now the nugget has now turned into a full-blown meal now,
Mm-hmm.
where it's something that we have to sit with and chew on. And honestly, I was really shocked by it, simply because of the fact that in my mind I always picture Vince McMahon being one of the four lifers, like one of the people who you would think will probably die out of a job.
Right.
Like, I never saw him retiring.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of him retiring is kind of shell shocking, because we've seen this man on our television for most, if not all, of our lives. If you're a wrestling fan, like, he's been present for most of the time. And now we have to learn how to live in a world where in WWE, he's no longer there. But we also can't ignore the fact of the reasons why he isn't
Mm-hmm.
there, because even though everybody has the right to react to it the way that they have been with the jokes and all of the above, I don't want to like look over the reasons why as to why he's having to step down like this. It's because his chickens came home to roost in a way where it's possible that he may have been horrible to some women in some way. And I don't want that to be overlooked, in a sense that, we're so caught up in all of the falderall of it that we're sort of forgetting that this is what this man is being accused of. And it's sad that it had to end this way, but it's like I said, whatever it is that you do to people will run back on you, and that's just how it has to be. So
Yeah.
it's a crazy day and it's a crazy circumstance, but at the same time, I can't say that it was the wrong move to make from a business perspective, because I mean, the company and the people who work for the company can't suffer just because of your, underhanded actions. So I'm sorry, but Vince, Mr. McMahon has to go. And, you know, that's just the consequences of your actions. So sorry it had to happen this way, but peace out.
Yeah. If y'all wonder why I'm making this face, is because Zerk is now showing on Rolling Loud, and I'm very upset because I really wanted to watch Lil Durk on Rolling Loud, and now he's performing. I'm so sad. But here we are.
Oh.
I sat here and waited, and I was like, okay, they're about to bring him on. And then I was like, as soon as I start this live stream, we start doing SmackDown, and they start showing Dirk and he starts performing. I don't even know his perform, but he's on mute right now. So for copyright reasons and in other words that he's probably going to utilize in his songs that sometimes they utilize here on one certain time, but we're not going to do it on SmackDown. Let's check out the comments here. Joseph said it's a crazy day, and I'm sure Wall Street Journal is dancing very happy. When they want to take people down, they do. Jalen said, well, here we are. Joseph also said, I think his people finally forced him to step down so WWE would look good. He also stated that look at the time of the statement, 4:45 p.m. It was when stock markets closed for the day. WWE stocks closed at 66.44 per share. I guess that's good. I really don't know. I'm not into stocks. And Nikki said, I'm screaming at this photo. Yeah, I got to put one up for IG. Vince McMahon. But let's move on because his daughter Stephanie, I'm going to say Hardy, Lord, Stephanie Hardy. I mean, listen, there's a lot of Stephanies out here in this world. I know a lot of them. I have a manager whose name is Stephanie. I know a lot of Stephanies in this world. I'll tell you that much. But Stephanie McMahon, of course, opened up the show There was a lot of thank you events, a lot of boos. I thought maybe they're going to do their traditional bring everybody out and have them stand out on the stage and give a round of applause and, you know, a big celebration or something like that. But maybe he'll get a celebration, but maybe not right now. But it was nice to see Stephanie. I mean, we're now in the queendom of Stephanie McMahon, and she gets to call the shots now. I feel like, you know, we could see a lot more changes maybe happening. I'm gonna save the video for Monday, Nikki, because you told me to save the video for Monday. So I'm gonna save it for Monday because I'm pretty sure Monday on the news is definitely going to get talked about. She definitely is happy as Elf right now. But I mean, this moment right here, you know, it comes a time where now Triple H and Stephanie are the head of things, and Shane McMahon is probably looking for a new pair of Jordans to wear and try to run back and to get him a job again, because as of right now, it seems like he's the only one who's left out of the pot. But Stephanie came out, like I said, got a lot of thank you events. Chance a lot of, you know, changes and saying, you know, how much like her father has done over the years and things like that, and you know, he's never going to be forgotten. It was like she was sending him away in a casket or something, by the way she was talking. But I don't know. What did you think? Were you happy to see Stephanie? Did you think she was going to be, you know, coming out here tonight?
I did not. Like, when I saw the graphic, when they released the graphic, you know, a little bit later in the evening, and they said Stephanie was going to address us, I was just like, oh my God, Boss Lady Name Twin is coming. Let's go. Because I do have a special place in my heart for Stephanie McMahon always. And it's not even just because, you know, we share the same name, but it's also because she's just, you know, she just represents, you know, the ultimate girl bossdom when it comes to wrestling. And her being general manager, you know, around the time I sort of got back into wrestling after taking like a little bit of a break. Like, it's just watching her sort of take charge and be the chairwoman and co-CEO at this point is really cool, even though it came at a very terrible circumstance. But at the same time, I feel like she's ready to sort of call the shots now, because I feel like she's been trained for this. She's worked up and down, you know, through the company since she was a child. So I feel like she is ready for this. But when she was, you know, saying, you know, all that stuff about Vince, you could see that she was a little bit choked up. Like, you could see like she was holding back tears, like, because at the end of the day, this is still her dad. Like, this is still somebody that she loves and shares space with, you know. So it's just hard in the sense that this is what's going on, but this is what has to happen. And I'm more than sure that she is, you know, equipped and ready to take charge, you know, the way that she was trained to take charge. But the thank you Vince stuff was a little bit weird for me, because like I said earlier, it's like this man has done all this stuff and we know what he's been accused of, so why are we chanting thank you Vince? But even though a lot of people will argue back and forth and say different things like, oh, you should separate it, you know, separate the art from the artist argument and all that other stuff. But to me, I just feel like chanting that when we know why, it's just a little bit much for me. So, but at the end of the day, this is a woman who loves her dad very much. And even though I didn't see it, there was a clip that someone shared where after, when she was going off of camera, she said, she mouthed into the camera and said, I love you, daddy. And, you know, I'm sure she really does still love him, of course, in the midst of everything. But at the end of the day, you know, business is business, and she is about to take charge and lead, you know, in her own way, and Triple H as well, and Nick Khan as well. So it was a sobering start to it, but it was, you know, I guess you could say a realistic start to it.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, like you said, at the end of the day, this is her dad, you know, and I mean, this is like 20 years later where Stephanie McMahon became the general manager, you know, for SmackDown at that, you know, and now she's back at it again, literally being on the top, being like ahead of on top of everyone right now. So I think it's awesome to see a woman, and actually let it be Stephanie McMahon, who knows the business, that when she's been in this position once before, she knows all the ins and outs. And maybe it'll be nice to see something, you know, happen. There could be a change, within the wrestling world. We could see some people come back. We could see some different call-ups. We can see a lot of different changes within the company. Hopefully we get that opportunity to do so. So shout out to Stephanie. Mm-hmm.
Also, cheap plug, go on women on www.talkpod.com and read my article for the top 5 Stephanie McMahon moments, because I did mention her becoming the general manager in 2002. So please, check that out if you have the chance. Check out that article that I wrote on www.talkpod.com. But yeah,
definitely check that out. And I mean, let the party begin, because I mean, we had the Street Profits come out, welcome in Smackdown in Boston, Massachusetts tonight. And I mean, of course, they started out the show. They came through the crowd. The crowd was hyped. That's a way to get the Street Profits in and start this show off. Of course, they talked about, SummerSlam is happening next Saturday, you guys. We are literally almost a week away from SummerSlam. Definitely going to be down there in Nashville, Tennessee for SummerSlam weekend. Definitely in there. First time ever going to SummerSlam. I'm so excited. I think within this moment, I'm hoping that the Street Profits pull out the win, especially with Jeff Jarrett being the special guest referee. But honestly, you never really know what's going to transpire. But of course, like I said, Street Profits came in and definitely declared themselves to be your new champions come SummerSlam. And of course, I don't know why he was here. Theory decided that, it doesn't matter what happens. I'm going to cash in on whoever is the champion, whether it's Brock, whether it's the tribal chief Roman Reigns. I don't give a damn. I'm going to cash in on whoever it is that's holding those titles. And of course, the Usos came out, and honestly, it didn't sit too well with them. With them, because Theory is talking about their cousin, their tribal chief, their smash
of us all.
saying all that good stuff. And I mean, at one point I thought maybe Theory was going to get jumped in the ring. I really did.
Me too.
Joseph said, I don't know either, Santana. Why is he here? It's stupid that he is the Money in the Bank holder. He better be a failed cash and all hell will break loose. I don't know. I mean, listen, Vince is not here to protect him anymore. So we really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, tonight I thought he was going to get jumped, but I mean, it seems as if like the tables turned. And I mean, he said some things before this even transpired. I mean, he said some things in regards to bringing up Bianca Belair, and it's like telling Montez, like, you and your wife are going to be walking out of SummerSlam with no titles. And it's like, well, Montez said, well, guess what? You're going to be walking out. You're not going to be walking out of Boston without getting these hands. And he ducked. And this is where the brawl happened between the Usos and the Street Profits, with Theory trying to figure out what is he going to do, because this is when white people decide to jump themselves into, black people business. Stay out of the way. So he decided he wanted to jump in and start helping the Usos attack the Street Profits. And Madcap Mox came out there to even out the odds. And, Teddy Long came out and said, hold on, wait a minute, player. Y'all wanna do this in the ring right now? But in the main event tonight, it's gonna be the Street Profits and Madcap Mox versus the Usos and Theory in a 6-man tag match. You already know. You know what I'm saying? That's if Teddy was here and did that. Because he love his tag matches. He love everybody that's in the ring and put them in a match together. But
shout out to Birmingham, Alabama.
Shout out to Birmingham, Alabama. But I mean, how can you not love it? But in the main event tonight, they did have the Street Profits and Madcap Moss versus the Usos and Theory, which we definitely will get into, because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, a lot of y'all in this media lied to us. Lied to people tonight about some people not showing up, but we definitely gonna get into that. I mean, we definitely going to get into that. And of course, the Street Profits and Madcap Moss all three of them were standing tall while the Usos and Theory retrieved. I mean, what a way to open up the show in regards to having a 6-man tag match going into the night, Stephanie. Like, what did you think? What's happening?
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting and high energy start to the show in terms of, the superstars. Um, and I really felt that Montez should have locked into that level of anger that he
Oh yeah.
had for Sam Roberts when Theory mentioned his name, and he
Mhm.
should have hit him like Will Smith hit Chris Rock.
Keep my
Like,
wife's name out your mouth.
that's exactly what he should have did. Because did nobody ask you to bring up Bianca? Keep the EST's name out your mouth. When did you
Literally.
start
Like,
riding Becky Lynch's coattails, sir? Sit down.
mind your business, sir. Stay,
Sit
I don't know.
down.
Like you have no business being out here. What is the issue?
Right. Mind the business that barely pays you and hush.
This
But
man is so lost.
Theory gotta be a big mouth.
Well, he's so lost without business, man. He got to figure out something to do because as soon as he don't become successful with cashing in, who knows where that man gonna
I don't know.
go.
He might just have to go back to the drawing board after that. But honestly, it was a really energetic part. I wasn't expecting Madcap Moss to come out there,
No.
and come to the defense of the Street Profits, but I wasn't necessarily mad either. So I was just like, okay, this is okay, cool, fine, whatever. And he came out and they all fought, and then the Profits and Moss stood tall, and then they made the match official. So I was like, okay, great, let's do
Well,
it.
here we are. As we move on within the show, because like I said, we always like to continue to start with the men and with the women. Because like I said, there are some people that y'all said walked out, and they were sitting looking on our screen. So we get into this match here: Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ludwig, and I mean, this is a rematch. Ludwig has the opportunity to reclaim some type of victory after losing last week and getting beat like he forgot to leave the chicken out like his mama told him to take out the freezer. And I mean, within this match, we see Shinsuke really, really giving Ludwig a nice run for his money, but seems like Gunther was not satisfied with what was happening, and he basically cheap shotted Shinsuke while the ref was distracted and helped Ludwig get the win. But Ludwig was a little scared after the match because I mean, it seems as if like Gunther was upset with him. He was not impressed. He was not happy, and for what a lot of people thought that he was going to get chopped again, like he did last week, but Gunther played it off. He was just like, it's all right. It's all right. No, it's not all right. You're finna get chopped again because you really thought that I had to help you get your win. This is not what I said. I don't know what he said in his language. I don't know what was stated. I wish I had some subtitles. I wish I had something that could translate for me so that I can know what he said. However, I know it as when I see one. It's in all languages, okay? And that's exactly what he did to Ludwig's chest. Look at the happiness on his face. He thought that he did good. He thought, and Gunther's like, nah, I got you. Smack right in the chest. And it's just like, why are you abusing this man? He won the match, although you kind of helped him, but still, he got the victory. Why are you still beating on him? Like, what is it? This is a form of punishment. I don't want it. I don't. Do you think that Ludwig might fight back?
I feel like he'll fight back, but it'll take him a while to fight back. Like, it's almost like Gunther is trying to beat the spirit out of him, whether he wins or not. It's almost like he doesn't believe in his abilities at all. And it's stressful because you feel like there's nothing you can do right or wrong that would keep you from getting punished, and that's abusive to me. So I just feel like, it's so funny. I was just talking to Katrina on NXT about how Roderick Strong is being abusive to Diamond Mine, and I feel like Gunther is doing the same thing to Ludwig. It's just like no matter what you do or what you try to do, it's like nothing is ever good enough for you. So eventually Ludwig is gonna get tired of it, and he gonna fight back, and he gonna leave him. And it's so sad because all he do is big Gunther up, but Gunther ain't doing the same thing for him. And when there's inconsistency on one part, then that relationship can't last. So it's over with.
I agree. What else I thought was over with? Well, I know it's not going to be over with. What's starting is the fact that, of course, we have out of nowhere.
These pictures.
Yeah, it's in like emotion. It's like boom, boom, bada, bada, boom, pow. Like,
Oh God.
this is okay. So it's in motion. So I mean, of course, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, were discussing everything dealing with like Blue Wit and whatnot. And I mean, of course, Michael Cole sees Baron Corbin hop the barricade. And I don't know if Pat reflexes are slow or something, but obviously they were, because Happy Corbin kicked the shit out of Pat McAfee. I mean, from here to here, the emotionness of the foot to face,
Jesus.
it was terrible. And of course, it reminded me of this here when Charlotte kicked the hell out of Io Shirai. Um,
Her hair.
it was just like it was so in motion. It really was. And I mean, like, how can you not like just reminisce? Like, I wish I had that video of when Rhea was walking outside and Charlotte kicked the hell out of her into that damn garage and she fell. This is what I get, you know what I'm saying? Like, or when Shawn Michaels is just super kicking people down the hallway. This is what reminds me of this. And so I mean, of course, Pat did not allow that to happen a little longer. He got up and he chased after Happy Corbin after Happy Corbin ran away. And I mean, of course, that was a big brawl backstage right in front of my salad, because as this was happening, I was eating food. And they decided they want to have this brawl right in front of me. I almost knocked over my plate. I was about to be very upset at the fact that I haven't eaten all day and y'all want to come back here and fight. This is like fighting in the lunchroom when you just sit down in the cafeteria for lunch and all of a sudden people on this side of the table want to have a fight. Eat your lunch. Eat your meals. Okay. What are you doing? But I mean, of course, I'm thoroughly excited to see, where this match takes place. And of course, even after the fact, even after they broke them up, Pat McAfee comes back out. And of course, we have bomb ass Corbin is what I love every Friday nights. And I get to say that because it's Friday and I'm only allowed to call Corbin a bomb ass on Fridays. Even though he's won every day. So, I mean, I really hope that Pat's and Happy Corbin's feud, me and Nikki were talking about this, like it happens in like a street fight. I mean, let them go to fight all over this damn place. Literally, let them brawl everywhere. But I know it's going to be a good match because honestly, this feud doesn't even have like a title even talked about, has been so damn entertaining. It has been so good. For me wise, it has me interested and ready to see them face each other at SummerSlam. I mean, like Stephanie, I mean, are you ready? Do you think this should be like a stipulation added to this match between Happy Corbin and Pat McAfee?
I would say no. I believe the reason why I would say no is because I feel like the heat between them is enough to sustain them without a stipulation. And then it's just like with SummerSlam, even though it is one of the big four pay-per-views and you try to up the ante a lot of the time, I just feel like with this type of SummerSlam, it's like you already have one bigger match that we'll talk about later, and then you already have the tag team match that has Jeff Jarrett as a special referee. I feel like this match is already okay without a stipulation in a sense, because it's just like you have Pat McAfee who's tired of being bullied by this mediocre dude who he used to play football with, and then you have Corbin who's just out here just being the bully that he knows how to be. I feel like honestly, like if they were to put anything else in it, it would just be extra, and they just don't, and these two people just don't need extra. Like they're already enough, like they already give enough within this feud. So I feel like a stipulation would just be a little bit too much for me. Like I just want to see these two fight each other. Like blow for blow, finishing move for finishing move, all of it. Like, I just want to see everything that these two have to offer, from an athletic perspective. And I do respect the fact that Pat McAfee came out there and still cut a promo even after running after him. Well, after getting jumped by him, then running after him, then beating him up, at Gorilla, and then running back to the ring, and then going back to commentary. Like, there is no stopping him. Pat McAfee is made of thunder and lightning. Like, he's incredible. I love him. He's great.
He's like a breath of fresh air every time I get a chance to see him, to be honest. I mean, like, everything that he's been doing, everything that he does, I think that is great. I mean, although, we're starting to see a lot more of him inside of the ring and having these feuds and stuff, which I honestly think is great because we don't really see a lot of people who hop from commentary to the ring to having feuds and stuff like that and actually jump into things. So, I mean, I'm fairly excited to see what this feud has in store for them. I really am. I definitely am. So, I mean, let's kind of continue on because, I mean, the New Day. Let's just. I have so many questions. Like, why are y'all out? What is the meaning of this? Why is this happening?
God bless them both.
I literally have so many questions, and I'm trying to understand like what the hell is going on and why is this happening? Every week the New Day never seems to just like I'm always laughing at the fact that I feel like maybe there's gonna be a lot of unicorn masses heads walking around here at a lot of these shows. Thank you, Xavier Woods, for terrorizing the kids. Now I feel like it's blinking at me or something. Like I don't know. I'm terrified.
I was wondering, did he wear this because this weekend is Comic-Con in San Diego?
So,
Like, I just didn't know what character he was supposed to be. Just a scary unicorn? Like, is this from a show or a video game or
it could be from a show, it could be from a video game, wherever
a
the hell
comic
it's
book
from.
or something?
I don't know what the hell is going on.
Tell us in the comments.
I don't know. But Joseph was like, what the fuck? He doesn't know what the hell is going on. Nobody does. But however, I wish I could have zoomed the hell in because I really would have. But as we move on within the show, I mean, the New Day was out here on commentary, of course, because there was a match tonight between, of course, Shanky and Jinder Mahal, who has a new theme song. Jinder Mahal does. And recently had a birthday, a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And they went against, of course, the Viking, the raging, vicious Viking Raiders. And of course, the Viking Raiders did pick up the win. But they started to attack, Jinder and Shanky again, and the New Day was just not having it once again. And of course, I mean, I feel like eventually we're going to have the Viking Raiders and the New Day in a match. I know a lot of people may not be too fond of this feud, but I mean, I got tired of seeing the Brawling Brutes and the New Day go at it every week. I really did. And I mean, I feel like this is something a little bit fresh, a little bit new. And I think that eventually we're going to get a match between the New Day and the Viking Raiders. It's bound to happen. Will they come out with a new mask to wear, Xavier? I don't know. Please leave that one at home. I don't know what was going on, but I didn't like it. I don't.
Yeah.
And the kids.
Yeah, it was very creepy, and them on commentary was pretty crazy too.
It's not making
But honestly, they will be fighting. They did make the announcement that the New Day and the Viking Raiders will be fighting next week in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So that is actually happening. So yeah.
All right. I mean, if it does happen, you don't know if it's going to happen or whatnot, but I hope it does. As we move on, speaking of the Brawling Brutes, we got the Shillelaghs and Shenanigans. I guess new episode or first time ever show that the Brawling Brutes are put together, and of course, nothing more, nothing less, but Drew McIntyre is here because, of course, as we know, Sheamus has been ducking and dodging Drew for like 3 weeks now, and today is the day this shit is gonna kick in. that you need to get out there and have your match. And I mean, of course, he did agree to it, but we know Sheamus. He said that he agreed to it, just not tonight. And Drew, of course, felt like, Sheamus, you've really been acting like a bitch. You really have. And you've been running for me. And look at you, Sheamus. You're a disappointment. Look at who you used to be. We started had our first match over in the UK, and this is what you have become now. This is awful. I thought maybe you would have been better than this, but you're not. And so, of course, as we see what this table is here, Sheamus and Drew will be having their match next week, to be exact. And it's not going to be your usual one-on-one type of match. And of course, Sheamus said he did talk to upper management about this, but unfortunately, it seemed like Adam Pearce may or may have not known about it. But now that he does, he did make it official. Joseph says Sheamus is scared of Drew. I think some crazy happens to set up this match at SummerSlam. It is possible, but this is what we get here. Well, obviously they're breakable because Drew cut one in half with Angela. But that match will definitely happen and take place next week. So Stephanie, I mean, do you think Sheamus is scared of Drew, or is he just pretending to be scared of Drew?
I feel like he's pretending to be scared of Drew because we've seen them tear each other apart in matches like over and over again, like even like in the past. And even last year, during the Thunderdome / big pandemic era, we saw them have all kinds of classic matches with each other. So for the life of me, I don't understand why is it that Sheamus is being brand new, with Drew McIntyre, in the sense of him saying, oh, well, I don't want to fight you this week, or you're going to fight this person this week. Like, it makes no sense. And Drew McIntyre was right to call him on it. Like, he is tired of playing these games with Sheamus. Like, Sheamus really used to be that guy, like in like 10 years ago. And like 10 years ago, it's so crazy to think about now.
He was
like,
reading this man. He was not only reading Sheamus, but he was reading Brock and he was reading Roman Reigns. He was on everybody.
Right. He was saying it doesn't matter who we have to face. But yeah, he was just like, you see that regardless to who wins that match at SummerSlam, it's like, it's not better because both of these dudes have the titles. But if we fight, then we could bring prestige back to them because both of them are former champions.
They are.
And, they deserve to do that. And Sheamus deserves to take himself a little bit more seriously with that, as opposed to hiding behind his friends and hiding behind weapons. So Drew got real, and I appreciated that from him. Like, there was a lot of fire there. And you can see that there's a lot of pride in the fact that Clash at the Castle is going to be in the UK, which is where they're both from. So I like that passion out of him. Like, if we can see more of him like that, then that would be way more interesting. But yeah, good job, Drew. I love it.
Shout out to Drew. Drew's been, on a roll ever since then. I mean, will it happen? I hope so, but we definitely find out next week if it does. As we move forward to what happened, like backstage wise, Usos are sick. Where like I said earlier, they were not too fond of Theory talking about the tribal chief and so on and so forth. And then of course Heyman pops up because Roman is not here this week. He will be on the Monday Night Raw, which I have to see him, and I get to talk about him on Monday Night Raw in a bad way. But with the Usos and Paul Heyman, I mean, they're having their big discussion. And of course, we've seen Paul Heyman and Theory have their own, interaction and whatnot. What do you think Paul may have under his sleeve, with Theory and like the Usos wise? Like, do you think something could possibly happen? Like, do you think that Paul would want to take Theory up under his wing or something?
I do. And I mentioned this. I mentioned this last week. Like, I feel like he has just something dastardly, under his sleeve when it comes to this situation with Theory and everybody else and Roman and stuff. Like, you can never really trust Paul. No. It's like once Paul says, trust me, I'm your wise man, it's going to be like a good flowery relationship for maybe a couple of months until he sees something that will that could actually benefit him more. Papa Paul is just so dastardly. Like, he's just the evil villain. He's just like Jafar of WWE. He
More like,
always has a plan.
when in a rock say more like a walrus shaped Javar,
Yeah.
way like to call him. I guess. But I mean, like I said, before we even get to our main event for the men, because we're about to get into the women in a few minutes. Jeff Jarrett, JELLJARRETT, Jeff Jarrett, Nashville, Tennessee's own, makes his appearance tonight. And of course, he talks about, he's going to call it right down the middle. There's not going to be any shenanigans. There has to be a winner to end all of this feud. And I mean, he seems to be ecstatic. He said he got a lot of positive feedback from the fans. Excited to see him be the special guest referee to this match. And I mean, what can I say? I mean, we found out last week that he was going to be the special guest referee, and I think it's great. Why not? I mean, I know a lot of people said like Sammy, Bannon, or maybe Solo Sikoa, but I think Solo Sikoa was getting his ass beat last week by Von Wagner in the parking lot. So he obviously wasn't going to make it to let people know that he was going to be the special guest referee, because he got some things he had to take care of down at NXT 2.0. But I mean, I think it's cool that Jeff Jarrett is going to be there. Why not? You're in Nashville, Tennessee. You're in his hometown, his home state. Why not have the hometown boy officiate the match? My only thing is, I seen what Jeff Jarrett did at the NWA show with that match with Nick Aldis and Matt Cardona.
What'd he do?
Double cross people. That's what he did.
Uh-oh.
I'm telling you right now, Mr. Jeff Jarrett, Mr. Double J. If you mess up this match for the Street Profits, I'm jumping over that barricade and I'm gonna beat your ass with your damn guitar. How about that? Don't play with me, okay? And now I'm happy that you are being a ref for this match. But if you go in there and you do something that's gonna make me mad, I'm gonna fight you. I am. I am.
Man, don't do that. Security will get you and tackle you.
Let me tell you something. I tackle security first. I'm getting it. I'm gonna get my hands on Jeff Jarrett before they can get their hands on me, and I'm gonna run away. So it's definitely happening. And then next day he does, we did find out who Ric Flair's opponent would be for his last match. And he teams up with Jay Lethal, with Kieran Jarrett versus Andrade and Ric Flair, with possibly Ashley Charlotte at ringside. He did cost Nick the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. He did. So this is why I say I have my issues with Jeff Jarrett if he doesn't call this match right down the middle like he's supposed to.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. Like I said, SummerSlam is literally a week away to come tomorrow. I'm excited to see, what SummerSlam weekend has in store for the Salt Shakers. We're going to be there starting out with GCW, Starrcast, SummerSlam, Ric Flair's match. It's going to be a big weekend for us. And I mean, we're definitely ready to take you guys along for the ride and represent women's wrestling talk the best way that we can, or the best way we know we can. The excitement. And I mean, here we are. Main event finally happens. Madcap Moss and the Street Profits versus Theory and the Usos. And I mean, it seems like Theory and the Usos are not seeing eye to eye, as we can kind of tell in this picture, because, I mean, if you saw at the end, they pretty much left this man because he tried to walk out on them. He tried to leave. And the Usos was like, nah, my guy, it's not going down like that. And they left Theory to be fed to the wolves, which was a beast. And we're definitely going to get into that beast in a few seconds. But I mean, this is a nice way to close out this Smackdown. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I know the Street Profits and Riddle are supposed to team up together against the Usos and Roman on Monday. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, could this lead to a feud between Madcap and Theory along the way? I mean, they've had some issues. Dolph Ziggler has inserted himself in some issues with Theory. Theory is literally about to get jumped by a lot of people.
Theory versus everybody.
Literally. The same thing that how they did with Johnson and Randy Orton that year when they had Johnson and Randy Orton versus the Locker Room. So I mean, this is about to be Theory versus a lot of people that he has pissed off. So I mean, this match happened, and of course, I mean, what a way to close out your SmackDown, but not so quite, because it seemed like to me that a beast was just right around the corner, waiting for some feasting. And that's exactly what he did to Theory. He gave him an F5 and he beat him with his own Money in the Bank briefcase. And to all you people who lied, you guys lied and said that man walked out. And maybe he did walk out, and maybe he came back in and was like, you know what? Let me do my job. But what I can say is that, I mean, this was all in the uproar. A lot of people were very upset at the fact that he walked out. A lot of people was like, okay, well, we need Michael Cole and Pat McAfee to give him the same treatment they gave Sasha and Naomi. We need them to call him unprofessional. We need all types of treatments to be given to Brock Lesnar the way that everybody treated Sasha and Naomi. And I think that with this here with Brock, this is just something to say that maybe he walked out to cool off because he was upset at the fact that Vince is retiring and he's gone, and Vince seems to be like the only person who's really has kept him here and kept him coming back. So everybody started making speculations on if who was going to replace Brock Lesnar to face Roman Reigns. Was it going to be Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle, or was it going to be Goldberg? Honestly, if Brock didn't show up and it happened to be Goldberg, I was going to laugh. Like I laughed at Crown Jewel. I was going to laugh. I'm telling you now, I really would have, because I know that Goldberg coming out would have pissed off a lot of people. And everybody knows I live for violence and chaos. So, I mean, when Brock came out, Stephanie, were you shocked that he came out? Like, did you think that maybe he did walk out for real? Like, that was it? Like, Brock was like gone?
Yeah, like I saw all of the reports, and I don't know whether or not, it's hard to say what reports are true and which ones aren't, because of course, none of us are back there and none of us know what's going on in production meetings and stuff like that. Regardless of how much we like to think we do, we really don't. Mm-hmm. So honestly, I was surprised because it just seemed like everybody was just running with it. But then it was we were all just kind of running off of the emotions of the day, honestly. Mm-hmm. Between Triple H and between Vince and between all of this other stuff going on, everybody was just running with everything and all the chaos that was going on social media. But however, when Brock came out, I was like, oh. And then he proceeded to walk around like a shark and feast on Theory like he was nothing more than a lowly minnow in the water. Like, he ate him up the same way he did at Elimination Chamber this year. If Theory, just in case anybody's forgotten that, like, Brock Lesnar almost killed Theory in the Elimination Chamber this year.
Threw him off the top of the pod. Like, hello? Like, right. I did not think that man was going to survive.
Me neither.
Jesus Christ. I did not think that man was going to survive, like, off of that.
And then he beat him with the Money in the Bank case. What?
He whooped that man, like, I mean, a lot of people getting their ass whooped tonight, like, from Louis getting whooped to with a chop, and now you getting beat with your own briefcase. What's next? What is next? But I mean, hey, it is what it is, and I mean that was pretty much SmackDown in regards to the men wise, and of course, like we were stating earlier, next week, of course, hopefully it does happen. This is a good old fashioned Danny Brooke match. The winner will face the undisputed WWE Universal Champion at Clash at the Castle in September. Will it be Drew McIntyre? Will it be Sheamus? You'll find out next week when SmackDown takes Atlanta, Georgia. And of course, also next week, the New Day versus the Viking Raiders will definitely take place in Atlanta, Georgia next week. So, I mean, we got some matches really, really transpiring. But let's go ahead and dive into the women right quick. Sonya Deville makes her triumphant return And she goes into, Adam Pearce's office and realizes that this is a shit show, and that Adam Pearce needs to take the money that he fined her with and literally hire her back so that she can get this back in order. But Adam Pearce seems to feel like everything is fine. Everything is going great. I don't need you anymore. But however, I need you to get ready because, baby girl, you have a match tonight. You do. And she did. She had a match with Raquel Rodriguez. And I mean, we knew Sonya wasn't going to win, but I will say that I definitely enjoyed her gear. Her gear was fire. It was amazing. The detail on her cut brow that she has that had the white eyeshadow in there, or white paint there, was hard. Like, I'm not the biggest Sonya Deville fan, but I love her theme song, and I definitely love her gear. And I thought maybe would have got a Stephanie McMahon and Sonya Deville interaction, but I guess not. Maybe on a later date, a later note. But of course, she had her match with Raquel, and well, she put up a really nice fight, but it wasn't too much for the Texan native, and Raquel Rodriguez ended up coming up with the win. Would you think that, Raquel has been on a roll since not really winning at Money in the Bank, but she's been on a roll since then. I mean, she's been winning her matches. She's been, what do you think could be next for Raquel, or what do you think could be next for Sonya Deville? Like, do you think she ever get her job back? What is going to happen with these two women individually wise?
Well, first of all, the future is bright for Raquel simply because of the fact that she's happy to be there. She's happy to be, doing her work and everything, out there posing, with probably one of the greatest backs I've ever seen in my life. She's just, willing to do the work at this point. And Raquel is going to be a future champion at some point. I see her maybe challenging Liv, later on down the road. I think that'll be cool, but she's in a good place at this point because she has nothing to be ashamed of, with her performance at Money in the Bank. Sonya Deville, however, she'll never be in charge again. She abused her power far too much for her to ever consider being, in charge again. Like, she just won't. There is nothing else for her in terms of being an official. So now she has to scrap and fight like the rest of the girls. So I mean, hey, turnabout is fair play. It's so funny because a few weeks ago, she was struggling to get on television, acting like, oh, well, why haven't you put me in a match? Why haven't you put me in a match? Which is basically the same thing she was doing to Naomi. So karma's crazy, isn't it? But now you out here and you getting beat. I'm sorry, Stan.
The tables have turned, okay?
Right.
The ancestors are in rejoice and be glad in it. Another, with Sonya, I don't know what's going to take place with her, honestly. It just is what it is. And of course, with Raquel, she's only going up from here, and hopefully we see something pretty nice for her in the near future. I know that's just a way to kind of build her up on the main roster. She's likable by the crowd and stuff. So I think it's going to be great. As we move on to what I think is just the getting on my last nerve is the fact that Lacey Evans just seems to not want to, wrestle Aliyah. I know Aliyah beat Natty in like 3.17 seconds, but are you afraid that you could be, beaten in that same amount of time too? And it's just annoying at the fact that, this has been happening multiple times within a week. And we just constantly get Lacey come out and she gives this little stupid speech that doesn't even matter. And she doesn't face Aliyah, but tonight she gives her a cheap shot, and leaves it. And it's just like, it's really annoying. So next week they made it official again that Aliyah versus Lacey Evans. I'm like, okay, now I don't know why y'all let this white woman use her privilege like this, but it's giving a lot of things. Okay, what can we not, like, why are we still getting this match again when nothing is going to transpire? Now next week, if they don't have a match, it's gonna there's going to be an issue. Like Aliyah needs to take charge and take their microphone and knock Lacey in her face with it. How about that? You know, show her that you are a worthy competitor every time you come out here and do the same thing over and over again. All she's going to do is come out here and talk. Who wants to keep hearing that? Nobody. We got some people in the comments. Sammy said this is a real waste of time. Let's fucking go Aliyah. Sammy says she needs to go back to her old gimmick in regards to Lacey Evans. Nikki said the same way people said Liv needs better, so does Aliyah. Joseph said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But 3 times, Lacey will do the same song and dance. If Lacey goes to hell, I'll be pissed. If Lacey says go to hell, I'll be pissed. Well, she's been telling y'all to go to hell for like 3 weeks now. So are you hot? Are you burning? Are you on fire? Because she's been telling everybody every week to go to hell. And Nikki says, get that racist ass bitch out of here. So, let's be honest, Stephanie, do you think this match is going to happen next week? Are we going to get the same thing over and over again?
I don't think so. I feel like something different will happen in the sense that I feel like Aliyah might get fed up and just not wait until the match even starts. I feel like she's just gonna jump her from behind while she's making her slow entrance or whatever, and then she gonna beat her up and proceed to fight her up the ring and up the ramp towards the ring, and then something different will happen in terms of that.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, Aliyah does deserve a little bit better. But I will also say this though, Lacey Evans in this promo that she gave, when she was talking about how people like her, you know, built, you know, the city of Boston and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting here like, and talking about how all you people couldn't, you know, last one day in my shoes. And I'm sitting here like, ma'am, would you last one day in mine? Could you?
Like I said, like
you couldn't. It's just like you talk all this stuff. It's like I said last week, you talk all this stuff about everything you've survived and everything, you know, of what you've been through and what you rose above. But at the end of the day, nobody owes you anything. And it's just like you acting like a spoiled brat isn't making us respect you anymore. And you telling people to go to hell isn't making us respect you anymore either. So eventually something is going to have to happen where Aliyah is going to get sick of it and she going to run up on her and proceed to beat her behind and really like let her know, like, I'm sick of this. Everybody's sick of you. Let's actually fight and prove yourself, you know, to be this tough girl that you claim to be.
Exactly. Jalen said, get Capital Storming Lita out of here.
Oh, Jesus.
It's possible that it could happen, but I mean, who honestly knows what could transpire next week? But I'm not going to get my hopes up for it. I didn't get my hopes up this week, and look what happened. What I did get my hopes up for was finding out who was going to be Maxine Dupree, Max's sister, and of course, here we are. We finally know that Maxine Dupree is Sophie from NXT 2.0, who was with the Robert Stone brand. And I mean, you know, so here's the thing. I personally thought that it was going to be Jenny because I felt like Jenny would have really fit this gimmick a lot. She's a fashionista. That's her gimmick. That's who she is. And I felt like that's who it should have been. However, I'm not necessarily upset at the fact that Sophie is Maxine Dupree because my thing is that she has a look. She does. She has a voice. And, you know, I feel like with Sophia, she's like your, you know, like when you're going to a modeling world, there's always a little blonde chick who, you know, kind of is like either like the, you know, intern or something, you know what I'm saying? And they normally look like this if you go to like Miami or if you go to like California, you know, and things like that. Mostly in Miami, this is what they kind of look like when they're in regards to like being a part of the modeling, you know, agencies and stuff like that. This is what they look like. Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't upset because the more I look at them, like, okay, all right, cool. But I definitely want it to be Jenny. Sam says booze, tomatoes are thrown. Jenny should have been Maxine. Joseph says Jenny Couture would have actually wrestled as Maxine. Sophia won't. I'm not upset. I mean, I'm not upset either. I mean, it is what it is. We did find out exactly who she is, and Joe also said that I thought we wouldn't have meet Maxine because PW Insider reported that Max Dupree also walked out.
That's strange because they advertised Maxine last week.
They did, but they also said that Max would be there too.
Oh,
But they also did say that although Max wasn't going to be here, we still was going to have Maxine. We don't know that she's can wrestle. She's never been in a match before. I think her only purpose was to just be like a little bit of like a manager or something as of right now. A lot of times the people who start out being managers did not wrestle or could not wrestle and doesn't necessarily have to wrestle at all whatsoever. She's just doing her job, being the, taking her brother's spot for right now. Unless this is some Elias and Ezekiel type thing, then by all means, spare me. But we got a chance to meet her. Next week, we're going to see the 2022 beachwear collection. Maybe they'll add more models, maybe not. I saw that they were interested in looking for new models to add to the agency, but I mean, it's not. Sam said because I would hate if she was horrible in the ring. Well, Sam, you can't wrestle yourself, so I guess both of y'all be in a pillow fight match. As we move on to the last thing for the women for SmackDown before we dive into Rampage, and I send that over to Stephanie. Yeah, I needed to be on W Shop. Child, please, whatever. We move on to what we thought was going to be an interesting face-off between Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. Well, this is another person that y'all said walked out. She's here. She's standing right here, right in front of Liv Morgan. And so I mean, they had their face off, and try to figure out, they're going to be facing each other at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Champion. Liv finally got her side play, so happy for those who are Liv Morgan fans that she finally got her side play, so y'all can shut the hell up about it. Well, this was okay promo. It was. I mean, it was just more so of like, Ronda. Strange. I didn't hear that Ronda walked out. She attacked Sonya Deville after her match with Raquel as the division exclusive. Yeah, I did see that, but they did state that Ronda Rousey did walk out as well. It was like all on Twitter at the same time. They were saying that Brock walked out. They said that Ronda walked out too. So that's what I was
Why would she walk out?
I have absolutely no idea. I can't even answer that question because I don't know why would she walk out.
That is strange. Okay,
people are stupid. But her and Liv had their face off, and Ronda particularly said, like, basically, what happened at Money in the Bank. She talked about it, but she also said that, well, you're Liv Morgan and I'm Ronda Rousey. I've built my name. I have a name. You're kind of just like working on getting yours. You're holding a title that I'm going to take back for you. I'm going to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. And I'm going to walk out of SummerSlam with that title. But Liv Morgan on the hand is like, I need this more than you. I want this more than you. Ronda talks about how, Liv is just so passionate about this. And, everybody loves you. Everybody is so happy and loves you. But at the end of the day, I'm Ronda Rousey and I'm not impressed, basically. You may impress everyone else, but you haven't impressed me. And she walks off and it leaves it with that. So, I mean, where do you see this going? Like, are you interested in seeing a Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan feud? Like, does it make you feel ready to see what this match is going to hold at SummerSlam?
I'm interested in the idea of seeing them fight simply because when Liv, cashed in on Ronda, it was after she fought like a grueling match against Natty. Mm-hmm. And she took advantage of that, which was a smart thing to do when you have that contract or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm really interested to see how Liv would go up against someone like Ronda in terms of, her abilities and stuff like that. But I will say that I actually enjoyed this promo simply because of the fact, not even from the perspective of Ronda, but mostly from the perspective of Liv, because Liv sounded like not even just that she needed to be the champion, but because she sounded like her being champion is literally the greatest thing that has happened to her. And
Mhm.
when that's something that you have worked for all your life and it's something that you have tried to manifest for so long and you've had to wait your turn over and over again to be passed up, and basically you lose every single time up until this point and you finally get your opportunity in the spotlight as the champion, you're not going to let anybody take that away, especially someone who likes to collect, accomplishments and sort of hang them up as, as an accessory to a degree, because Ronda Rousey doesn't necessarily need to be champion because her name and every other accomplishment she has done speaks for itself, already.
Mhm.
Liv wants to be champion because this is her life. Like she eats, sleeps, and breathes wrestling in a way that Ronda just necessarily doesn't. It's like she loves wrestling, but at the same time, she doesn't love it the same way that Liv does. So I feel like Liv has more of a motivation to remain champion and to fight to maintain her reign, than say a Ronda who has been champion in other aspects as well outside of WWE, who just wants to collect yet another accomplishment, in her cap. Yeah, like seriously. And it's so funny because today I was listening to After the Bell with
Mhm.
Corey Graves and listening to her interview, and she said that when Ronda Rousey was having her first little undefeated streak in the UFC, Liv said that she was waiting tables around this time and watching that happen. So to go full circle and watch her as champion while Ronda is looking to face her, it's a pretty cool full circle moment. And I'm
Mhm.
more than sure that Liv isn't gonna let her just take that away. So yeah, I'm interested.
Well, let's hope. Nikki said that two of the worst talkers in the business, this shit was ass. Joseph said, I can see the heel turn happening at SummerSlam if Liv retains. Ronda doesn't like the play role of a challenger. Sam said it's some basic side plates. And Liv, Nikki said she loves Liv's gear. It was cute tonight. I don't know. Like I said, like I've been saying, I'm not really excited for this feud or for this match. I'm not going in with a high hopes for anything. I'm just gonna be watching, you know, just gonna be watching, seeing how they match up, seeing how they spar off together, seeing where it goes, um, seeing if Liv retains or does she lose or what transpires. I really don't know, but I mean, it is what it is. We're 1 week away, almost 1 week away from SummerSlam. SmackDown will have their going home will be a going on home show for SummerSlam, and I mean, will we see these two have some type of confrontation happen again? Honestly, we really don't know, but I mean, it is what it is, and that was pretty much the end of SmackDown right there. Closing out, like I said, the go home show happens next week, night before SummerSlam. So I mean, let's kind of jump into Rampage. And Stephanie, the floor is yours. Take a seat back and relax. Keep my feet up.
Okay, so Fighter Fest is going on. This is the second week of Fighter Fest. This is night 2. So, this match started immediately because, of course, Rampage likes to just get it cracking. So it was the Butcher and the Blade versus Hangman Page and John Silver. This match was pretty good in the sense that you sort of had Hangman Page doing all of his cowboy ish like he loves to do, and then you had John Silver sort of running around utilizing his size and quickness, to sort of take down the Butcher and the Blade. So this match was pretty enjoyable and it was really fast paced in a sense. And they were utilizing themselves all over the ring, outside of the ring, and all of the above. And it was just a really good match, I would say, to start off Fighter Fest Rampage tonight. And Hangman Page and John Silver came out with the win. And it was sort of adorable to see Hangman sort of hold John Silver's hands up because you can clearly see that Adam Page is taller than John Silver. But either way, it was still cool to see them, together at that point because they were, friends during the height of the Dark Order and stuff. So it was a pretty good match. But yeah, Adam Page and John Silver came out with the win. So how did you feel about this, Santana?
I mean, it was a great opening. I mean, of course, we know that Hangman Page and John Silver have been having their issues with the Butcher and the Blade. And I mean, it was bound to happen. That I mean, it's not the first time we haven't seen these four spar off against each other. And it was a nice way to just close out the week for Fighter Fest before they kind of go into the fall thing or whatever they got going on next week. I never know.
Fight
AEW
for the fallen.
let me tell you something. AEW got a lot of different special shows that they got putting together and stuff like that I've never heard before, and it's nice to see them just put these things together. But I mean, it was a great way to start out the show. I mean, it's not much you can really say. I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go afterwards. But Hangman Page, since losing the title, I mean, haven't really seen that much of him. We have seen much of him, but it hasn't been like, he's a former champion. It doesn't have that feeling, it's just kind of like he just kind of went right back down to, don't want to say the bottom, but like sort of the bottom a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, shout out to that man and shout out to John Silver, of course. What are you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What are you abusing over there? What? I'm like, what is going on?
I'm sorry.
What is happening? I'm like, what is happening right now? Stephanie is being ill.
If there was a bug on my computer screen, I'm sorry, guys.
You are being like,
I'm sorry.
Fighter Fest, ladies and gentlemen, with Stephanie and the bug.
I try to remain as professional as I can, but this bug was just all over my screen, and I just got sick of it. Okay,
baby.
Now I'm laughing, and I'm
just like, what the hell is going on?
I'm sorry.
What is going on? Like, Stephanie out here beating the shit out of her damn. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Stop it! You're making me laugh more.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm quiet. I have covered my face with my hand. I'm quiet.
Oh God, I'm sorry, you guys. If you're watching live on Twitch, I apologize. But yeah, there was a bug on my computer screen, but we should be okay now. We should be okay.
Do we move forward?
Yes, we can move forward. So we had this next match, which was really good. I enjoyed this match. It's Lee Moriarty versus Dante Martin. This match was created, I believe, last week's episode of Rampage. They shook on it backstage. Lee Moriarty was sort of being courted by Stokely, in a sense, and he actually came out to watch this match, which I thought was really interesting, much to the chagrin of Matt Sydal, who has been training him and stuff like that. But this match was so killer. It's like these two are evenly matched, because you have both of them having high flying abilities, on top of the fact that they started this match sort of utilizing submission work with their arms and their wrists and stuff. So it was really good. I enjoyed this match so very much. But then I feel like a story that they were sort of telling was just the idea that Dante was just being sort of like this pure I love wrestling, type of I love peace type of thing. But Lee Moriarty is sort of in conflict with trying to be, either this really good, pure wrestling type of person, or if he wants to be sort of like this star who wants to do underhanded things in order to catch people's attention. And that actually wound up overpowering him, because he wound up winning the match by covering Dante Martin and holding on to the ropes, and referee Aubrey Edwards did not see that. So Lee Moriarty came out with the win, but Matt Sydal didn't like that too much. And so Lee Moriarty ran out. He had a little bit of an evil look on his face afterward. And he was pretending like he was kind of giving Stokely a little bit of a chance when he gave out his card, but Lee Moriarty passed by him. But this was also after Matt Sydal decided that he wanted to challenge Lee Moriarty to a match that will take place next week on Rampage as well. So next week is going to be Lee versus his teacher, Matt. And Lee Moriarty is now playing little mind games with Stokely to see if he will be his manager. So kind of a devilish turn for Lee Moriarty. So
It
yeah.
is.
How did you feel about this match, Sam?
I mean, I've seen Dante and Lee have their match once before, like in 2020, and then some other matches that they've done before. And I mean, Dante is so amazing. I've seen Lee wrestle a lot, and he's amazing too. So I mean, it's just more so the fact of like having these two amazing talents together. And then of course, like Mike Seidel, who's in the back, like being his teacher and stuff. Of course, Lee is great, Dante is great, and I thought the match was really good. But to have teacher versus student, and then Stokely being a part, I thought maybe Lee was trying to be a baddie or something. Trying to replace Red Velvet. Trying to be the first male to be a part of baddies or something like that. With Stokely trying to be his manager, or whatever. But I mean, I guess we're pretty much trying to kind of see what the outcome is going to be. Will if Lee beats his teacher, does he go on to have Stokely be his manager or something, or does Mike Seidel or does Stokely come out and try to assist Lee with defeating his teacher? Like, there's a lot of questions that go into that. But other than that, I was excited for this match. I thought it was like considered to be a one of matches of the night for me, to be honest.
Definitely, I agree. But moving on, Lord Jesus.
Oh my god.
Moving on to talk about this rap battle. Oh, I really like, and then to make it even funnier for me, to mediate it, of course, since they were in Atlanta, they had Little Scrappy, as sort of like the mediator or the host of the rap battle. And I thought this was really funny because I hadn't seen Little Scrappy since Love and Hip Hop Atlanta in the early days of that show. But then I did see him on a flyer for a wrestling match somewhere. So he
Battle
does
Slam.
wrestle.
He's having a match at Battle Slam.
Yes.
And it's crazy because he was at the Battle Slam fight for Atlanta, and he was there to perform. But now he's about to be in a match. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I didn't know he could wrestle, so I was just like, okay, well, here we go. So, I embrace it, but now he was mediating this rap battle, and Austin Gunn really was, tried to come with a lot of the heavy hits and stuff. Like he was making fun of Max Caster's parents. He was saying all kinds of other stuff. But the thing that irritated me though was the fact that Austin Gunn had on an OVO hat. And I'm not gonna diss OVO, but at the same time, if you're battle rapping, that's not the hat that you wear. Like, I mean, I just really feel like battle rapping is a little bit more grittier. But then again, I'm pretty sure someone like Austin Gunn wouldn't know that. So it's just the principle of it. But I was just like, how you gonna go to a battle rap, something as gritty as a battle rap with an OVO hat on? Come on now. No, stop. Um, so it was just a very mainstream thing for him to do. But Max Caster seemed like he was really on beat with a lot of his stuff. Of course, he called the Gun Brothers the ass boys. He called Billy Gunn's like reality shows that he had, irrelevant. Like he was just coming and hitting him hard. So it just really felt like Max Caster had Austin Gunn's number to the point to where Austin Gunn got so upset and he just like, we're not the ass boys, we're not the ass boys. And even Max Caster even accused them of cultural appropriation. And I was just like, yes. So I was just like, yes. But at the end of the day, Max Caster wound up winning. But what's so funny was Lil Scrappy kept saying, he kept mentioning your dad. He brought your dad in it. He brought your dad in it.
You gotta fight back.
You brought your dad in it. Like he kept saying that over and over again. But then he said that the Acclaimed were the winners because there was a point where Max Caster even gave the mic to his partner and he, chimed in a little bit and put in his 2 cents. So it was really funny, but at the same time, the Acclaimed wound up winning, and the Gun Club did not take kindly to that, so they proceeded to beat up on everybody in the whole entourage of the Acclaimed, and they, stood tall in that. But I was just like, y'all beat them up. At the end of the day, y'all did kind of lose that rap battle in a sense. But I'm not gonna lie though, Austin Gunn did try his best, but it's clear that Max Caster is the one who's the most, experience when it comes to rapping in that sense. And I didn't even know Max Caster had a dad that was famous. That was a famous football player. And then he also made mention of the fact that one of the members of the Acclaimed was one of Bobby Lashley's sisters as an extra on Monday Night Raw. Like, it was really interesting. But I still feel like my favorite rap battle of all time in wrestling is between the New Day and the Usos.
Forever
Kill me.
top tier for battle rapping. I thought this was like a deleted scene out of Malibu's Most Wanted or something. And I mean, I thought it was hilarious. Thought it was funny. It was nice to see. I didn't think Scrappy was gonna be like a mediator for this. I thought that was great because I mean, they're in Atlanta. You know, they had Jermaine Dupri come out on Wednesday with Jay Cargill and the Baddies. So I mean, it was only nice to have a rapper like Little Scrappy to be the mediator for this match. And I mean, Colton ended up choking after he was past the mic. He choked. Like honestly, you hate to be a sore loser. You really do, because I mean, you knew that going against the Acclaim, especially Max Caster, who is known for battle rapping and known for doing his part being a battle rapper, how could you think that you was gonna go in there and really do your part? He tried. They both tried really hard, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't, and they failed, and they took the anger out on them and left them laying in the ring with trash cans. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. It was meant to happen, and I don't know where this feud is going to go. I hope it continues, because maybe we'll have a match between these four and literally see what transpires.
Yes, and I will also say something interesting that I did notice in terms of camera work was like during the entire time the rap battle was going on, not the entire time, but a couple of times, they kept zooming in on black faces in the audience. And I feel like that was the most I've ever seen any AEW camera person zoom in on black faces in the audience that much. And I don't know whether to feel okay about it or mad about it.
I think it was more so just like wanting to get their reaction and see. Of course, white people, they gonna eat this shit up anyway. See, like, what do the black people think of this happening? I guess I don't know. I don't understand it either. I don't know why they were doing that or anything like that. But I mean, it is what it is. It happened. I don't know, but this is the most I've seen them put the camera on black people. Let's be honest. This is the most I've seen it. So I guess something that's dealing with in regards of black people. Let's show that we do have a black audience
In Atlanta, yeah.
So,
which is Atlanta. So
might as well.
But any other place.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Because something interesting I did see in between this was, of course, you had AEW, they were beefing up a lot of their Ring of Honor stuff. We'll get into that a little bit later, because Claudio did come out and cut a promo on Jonathan Gresham, because they're both fighting each other for the Ring of Honor World Championship. But I thought the promo was pretty cool. It was good to hear him talk after a while. I love Claudio. But after that point, we had this match, which is the main event, which was Jay Lethal versus Christopher Daniels. Now, Jay Lethal was looking to sort of score some momentum heading with his match with Samoa Joe for the ROH TV Championship. And then Christopher Daniels was just looking, they fought before multiple times from what I've heard. So they were just looking to fight each other. And this match was pretty good. But it was a little bit weird for me, because you had all these shenanigans from Jay Lethal's other friends who were out there. So it felt a little bit unfair. But in the sense of that, I mean, Jay Lethal was still doing his Jay Lethal stuff. It was still a pretty good match in and of itself. And Jay Lethal wound up coming out with the win. But then after he won, Christopher Daniels was being attacked by his entourage. And that's pretty much how Rampage ended. So yeah, Jay Lethal has the upper hand here going into his match with Samoa Joe. And they were yelling obscenities at Samoa Joe and everything. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, he literally choked Christopher Daniels out even after the match was over. Like he put him in the Coquita clutch, same way that obviously Samoa Joe is probably going to put him in come Saturday. So I mean, he just might as well go ahead and get prepared and get ready for it because it's definitely happening. I mean, Christopher Daniels, he's a legend, in ROH and stuff like that. He's absolutely amazing, extremely talented, been around for a very, very long time. And Jay Lethal, of course, is an amazing talent himself. Ooh, excuse me, with my eye itching. But he's an amazing talent himself. So, I mean, it was nice to see them go off in the main event. Like you said, Jay Lethal pretty much has the upper advantage right now. Really haven't seen Samoa Joe in a minute. We really haven't. I think the last time I saw him, he was on a video package and he cut his hair off. So, I mean, we might be getting a different Samoa Joe coming in tomorrow for Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor. So, I mean, I don't know, but Jay Lethal and all his friends better beware because Samoa Joe is on the loose. And I believe that he's definitely coming for Jay Lethal. I hope that this is a good match because it's definitely anticipated between these two. I can't wait to see them get their hands on each other tomorrow. I will say that. So, I mean, here we are.
Yeah. And then to talk about the women's action, the only women's match on this card, you had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter in a tag team match with Sky Blue and Ashley Dubois, who we haven't really seen on AEW in a while. Like, it was really good to see her, so I thought that was cool. There was a point where I think on commentary they were insinuating the fact that Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter have been having some issues lately, but it seemed like those issues weren't, into play in this match because they were basically, teaming really well with each other. In a match that went relatively quick. It wasn't like super duper quick like, they usually are, but at the same time it was still quick. For the most part, Britt Baker was really trying to tear down Sky Blue and keep her from tagging Ashley in, and and then she would tag Jamie Hayter in, and then she would use her power advantage against her. But then eventually, at some point, Sky Blue was actually able to tag Ashley Dubois in, and she was only able to get only a little bit of offense in before Britt and Jamie were able to gang up on her. And they proceeded to beat up on her and hit like a double move, and then Britt locked in her submission on Ashley as Sky looked on from outside of the ring awkwardly, and Ashley Dubois tapped out, leaving Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter your winner in the tag team match. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened with that one woman's match. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to be able to have, of course, Britt and Jamie, they've been making their rounds back to AEW and so on and so forth. I mean, tonight was just a night for them to finally, get their feet wet back into the ring and actually have a match. Although it was against Sky Blue and Ashley. I mean, it's just more so the fact of like, this is something that we don't know unless it was going to happen as of right now. Britt hasn't been seen since, in a very, very long time, even since she lost to, Thunder. And even when she won that title, the Owen Hart tournament, we haven't really seen much of her lately, nor have we seen Jamie Hayter. We haven't seen a Rebel either. We really haven't seen them. So, I mean, it was just nice to know for a fact that, they were there. They had a match. And, I mean, it happened. Of course, we knew that Ashley and Scott were not going to win. But, I mean, hey, you got Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter in a match. They've been coming for Thunderstorm since they popped up back on the screen. And, I mean, I think maybe somewhere down the line we could see Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter in the tag match pretty soon. Maybe on a Rampage, maybe on a Dynamite, maybe at All Out. Who knows what they have going on and what they have planned in store for these four women. Obviously, we do know that Thunder Rosa will be defending her title next week against I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it was the one who beat her last week that they showed on Dark. That I will say. If you know her name, do you know who I'm talking about? That's who she's facing on Wednesday for her championship. So I don't know what's going to transpire. I don't know will Thunder retain because she did lose against her. So I mean I don't know what's going to transpire, but it is what it is. But that was pretty much Rampage, with the ending with the women, and we kind of move on because, like I said, tomorrow it is Ring of Honor's first pay per view that they've had in a very very long time. Death Before Dishonor, and we're going to give our predictions tonight. We're going to kind of run through these pretty quickly so don't keep you guys here all night, like we kind of have. But we want to make this really quick, really short. Some people we may know, some people we may not know, but a lot of these people have wrestled in Ring of Honor, came from Ring of Honor, and they do wrestle on AEW. So it all pretty much makes sense. So let's kind of jump right into our predictions. And if you guys that are still here, let us know in the comments who you think is going to win these matches. And let's pretty much start here. Of course, FTR, who are currently the champions, the ROH World Tag Team Champions, will be facing the Briscoes. Remember the first time that they faced these two at the Ring of Honor Supercard in Dallas, Texas during WrestleMania weekend, WrestleCon weekend as well. And this was the first time ever that the FTR faced the Briscoes. It was an amazing match, but this one here is going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match. And it is another way to take up the stipulations for this match to finally understand who are the real champions. And the Briscoes has been confirmed to be signed to Ring of Honor. We know at some point they were wrestling in Impact, became tag team champions over there, and lost to the Good Brothers and at Slammiversary. So now they have their chance to maybe try to get their titles back from FTR. So I mean, at first I wasn't too familiar with the Briscoes and know much about them, but the more I saw them wrestle and stuff like that, I think they're a great talent. FTR, of course, one of the best tag teams we've seen in a very, very long time and have proven themselves to be, but I don't know who's going to win this match. I really don't, but I think because the Briscoes are assigned to ROH, they will probably win those tag team titles. So I'm probably gonna go with FTR, but I feel like with the Briscoes being signed to Ring of Honor, they're probably gonna take those titles back home.
Yeah, I'm predicting FTR simply because of the fact that they've just been on a tear, and because of the fact that they're channeling their inner golden role models. They literally have all the gold, so I feel like they're just going to continue. To hold all the gold. So I'm predicting FTR. No disrespect to the Briscoes though, because I know they're Ring of Honor legends.
Oh yeah, of course. Never that. No, never that at all whatsoever. All right. So as we move on to, of course, Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia for the ROH Pure Championship. These two, of course, if you know about the Jericho Appreciation Society and of course Blackpool, the feud and the brawl that they had at I think it was Double or Nothing is where they had this big brawl at. And I mean I think this would be really good for Daniel Garcia to pretty much showcase, his challenger ability of going for a title. And I mean, Daniel Garcia is an absolute amazing wrestler, and Yuta is a phenomenal wrestler too. But I'm going to have to go with the young Tenderoni Daniel Garcia for this win because I am a fan of Daniel Garcia. So I'm definitely going to go with Daniel Garcia to win this match and take this title off of Wheeler Yuta. What about you, Stephanie?
I don't really know because I feel like I feel it's like I know about Wheeler Yuta from him being in the Blackpool Fight Club, but I don't know enough about Daniel Garcia to say. So I almost feel like it's unfair for me to make a prediction.
Well, let's just say I mean, kind of how I would put it is that, okay, you may not know who's going to win, but if you felt like, if you just close your eyes, any minute, more, catch your finger by the toe. What do you?
Well, if that's the case, then I'll choose Wheeler Yuta to retain.
Because you know him, okay? So
Yeah,
I'd be
I know
like, you
him.
know what? I know him, so you know what? I'm just gonna go with him and call it a day. That's cool. That's fine. I'm not gonna judge.
I just like to be educated, and it's just like I just feel like I'm the least educated on Daniel Garcia, and I don't want to be, but
Well,
that's just how I
if you
am.
watch Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor tomorrow, you'll get very familiar with Dan Garcia and know his wrestling ability. I will
Yeah.
say that. All right, as we move forward to this match here, this did get added. A couple of these matches here tonight did got added. So now we do have the full, considered to be the full match card for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. So right here we have Brian Cage and Gates of Agony versus Tony Deppen, Alex Zane, and Blake Christian. All these guys I'm very familiar with. I've watched Blake Christian. He did come from NXT, and he's been killing it in GCW. He's been going crazy on the Indies. And Ali Dane was actually a part of the X Division Ultimate X match at Slammiversary TNA Impact's 20th. And he's a nominal wrestler. And Tony Deppen, I've seen a lot of his matches on the Indies. Of course, Brian Cage, you know, he was in AEW before all the shenanigans happened. I mean, Con. Mm. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that I'm probably gonna end up going with Brian Cage and Gates of Agony because I mean they're Ring of Honor. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm gonna go with them. Those are my picks to win this match.
Well, I'm going with Tony Deppen, Alex Zane, and Blake Christian simply because the other team has a Blanchard. The end.
Oh god. I ignored that in the back. I definitely did.
That's my prediction.
Listen, he can't help what his daughter does. I will say that, you know.
Mm,
She's done, she knows she's done what she's done and
mm,
it's not much that he can really, you know, he's not in control of what she has done. I will say that.
mm, mm.
All right, so because of the Blanchard that's on the opposite side, Stephen is going to go with the opposing team. All right, as we move forward to Shinobi Shadow Squad versus Trust Busters. I'm really not familiar with any of these guys. I'm not going to even lie, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go with Shinobi Shadow Squad. I am. I'm going with that side. Just because I don't know who any of these guys are, I really do not know who they are. So I'm gonna go with the Shinobi Shadow Squad because I feel like they have a chance of winning.
See, here's the thing though. On the Trust Busters though, that's Ari Davari.
See, he doesn't look. He does not look the same to me. That's the crazy part.
Right. He looks a little bit different, but that's really him. And I'm just like,
Oh
and I
wow.
didn't know it was him until they said so on commentary. And then they also showed a clip of him supposedly coming soon to AEW. So yeah, that's Ari Davari. And I just hadn't seen him in forever. So it's good to see that, he's still out there, whatever. But I'm predicting Shinobi Shadow Squad because
I mean, that
um
one bag look kind of fine. I ain't gonna lie.
they're not bad looking at all on the eyes. So Shinobi SSS, they're gonna win. Yeah, the melanin. I love it.
It's beautiful. As we move on to Colt Cabana versus Anthony Henry, Colt Cabana has had a lot of feuds with a lot of people um, in wrestling and in real life. And Anthony Green, he has been seen a lot on AEW Dark Wrestling a lot. But I'm definitely going to go with Colt Cabana because I'm more familiar with Colt Cabana and all of his shenanigans because he's honestly a great wrestler. He just does a lot of things that upsets you inside the ring. But I'm definitely going to go with Colt Cabana on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Colt Cabana too because he is the most familiar to me as well. So I agree, Colt Cabana. No disrespect to Anthony Henry though, I'm just not familiar with him.
I do like his name though. It sounds like a drink or something. As we move on to Roosh versus Dragon Lee, it's the battle of the brothers.
Like in real life, are they brothers?
No. I don't think they're real. I think it's like the battle of like the brothers, and I mean they could be brothers. I think they are. I don't know. Let me check first because I don't know. This is my first time being familiar and knowing who they are. Let me see. Rouge and Dragon Lee, are they brothers? Yep, they are brothers.
Yay!
They are related. And the battle of the brothers, well, you know what? I think it's gonna be great because let's find out who the better brother is. Who's the better brother? Is it Rouge or is it Dragon Lee? And I mean, Rouge has been on a terror since aligning himself with their cousin Andrade. So I mean, it's the battle of the brothers. I'm probably gonna go with Rouge. That's what I'm gonna go with. That's who I think is gonna win.
What a family.
What a family.
God, what a bloodline. That's crazy.
It runs thick, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dragon Lee because I just love the intensity of his picture. I love it. He just looks like he'll eat you.
Okay.
I just love the intensity of it. I just love it. Okay. The mask is giving. I love it.
I am screaming. And of course, what we just spoke about minutes ago, Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal for the ROH World TV Championship. I'm definitely going with Samoa Joe. I am.
Me too.
I'm going with Samoa Joe. He's taking home he's keeping that title still. And Jay Lethal is not taking that title. Nikki said that Jay Lethal has to win. Nikki was originally supposed to join for this prediction, but I think she got caught in traffic or something. But here we are. She's in the comments, so that's all that matters.
Be careful, Nikki.
She'll be all right. Are you going with Samoa Joe or are you going with Jay Lethal?
I'm going with Samoa Joe because logically we did just see Jay Lethal fight, and 9 times out of 10, they say that if you win the match if you win the match in the go home show, then 9 times out of 10 that means that you're going to lose the match that you're going into in the pay-per-view. So I'm predicting Samoa Joe.
All right. As we move on to, I think we have, well, technically, let's go ahead and get this out the way. All right. So we have, of course, we will see Jonathan Gresham versus Claudio of the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. So first time ever in my eyes of seeing this happen. I mean, from Claudio's promo that he cut to Jonathan Gresham letting it be known, like, look, Jonathan Gresham is an amazing talent. And excuse me, not Cesaro, but Claudio is an amazing talent too. I feel like Jim Ross over here saying they WWE names. I feel like this match is going to be really good. But I feel like I have Claudio to win because I mean it's only right. Honestly, I don't think they're going to allow him to lose on his way of coming back. You know, being a part of a company now. Like it's not no. He can't lose. So I'm going to go with Claudio, but nonetheless. I feel like this is going to be a banger of a match, and I'm definitely going to be tuned in and watching for real.
See, this is kind of hard to predict for me, simply because Jonathan Gresham has been champion for a long time. And he's really, really good. He is fantastic. He impresses me every time he wrestles. And then I also feel like Claudio, he impresses me every time he wrestles too. So either way, it's gonna be a feast for the eyes, regardless. But it's just like Jonathan. It's like Claudio did just enter the AEW/ROH world, or at least re-enter the ROH world, and Jonathan did just align with the Blanchard. So it's hard to predict. It's hard to predict. Because both of them are so good, and because one of them did just turn and Claudio just got there. So I feel like I'm predicting that Jonathan will win. and it might be by nefarious means, but before the nefarious means take place, it'll still be a banger match.
Of course. Joseph said that it would be a banger of a match, but this is hard to predict. I can see both guys winning. He said, my gut also tells me Claudio, but I won't be upset either way. Neither will I, because I think both of these guys are extremely talented, extremely good in the ring. And I mean, like I said, Jonathan has, like you said, Stephanie, Jonathan has been holding his title for a very, very long time. But will his title reign come to an end come tomorrow? Well, today, since it is Saturday, happy Ring of Honor Day, Death Before Dishonor Day, and we've got our last two matches to discuss. And of course, this includes the women. Allison Kay and Willow Nightingale will face each other on the pre-show for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. I mean, we pretty much have seen, if you paid attention, you watched a lot, we've seen Willow Nightingale featured a lot on AEW, whether it's on AEW Dark, Rampage, or Dynamite. Willow Nightingale has been making her rounds on AEW, while Allison Kay, really haven't seen that much of her since she and Marty Bell lost those tag titles. But she's kind of been wrestling on Women's Wrestling Army, which is created by Maria Kanellis Bennett. And I mean, I'm excited to see this. Of course, you know, Willow, she was at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view they had, just as well as Allison Kay. We just been seeing a lot more of Willow. I'm gonna go with Willow on this, because I feel like this would be a moment where Willow is able to pretty much start over, since she didn't win against Roxy, who is now Roxanne Perez in NXT 2.0. But it would be nice to see Willow take this victory back into a Ring of Honor and stuff like that. So I'm going to predict that Willow Nightingale is going to win.
I'm going to predict that Willow Nightingale is going to win too, considering we did just see her on Wednesday night go up against Jade and Kiera as she teamed with Athena, and they didn't wind up coming out successful in that, but she still had a good showing in that as well. So I feel like Willow, you know, has a little bit of an axe to grind in proving herself. So I really feel like Willow is going to win this match. But I do love Allison Kay because I have met her and interviewed her in the past. So I feel like it's going to be a good match regardless, but I'm predicting Willow as well.
Awesome. And of course, our last women's match, this one right here, Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb for the ROH Women's World Championship, is finally happening today, which is July 23rd, happening tonight. And I mean, if you know the history between Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb, it goes way, way, way back to even with them being a part of Ring of Honor. And I mean, of course, as we know, before this even started, I mean, they started in being in the tag on Dark, you know, doing their submission moves same time on their competitors, and even wrestling on Rampage and Dynamite together, and even going out to have their own singles matches too, before Serena Deeb turned on Mercedes Martinez. And now this is the reason why we have this match, which I'm thoroughly excited, because I knew that eventually they were going to separate and these two was going to clash somewhere down the line. I don't know if it's going to be on AEW Dark, or what, because that's where Mercedes Martinez has really been defending her championship on Dark. I'm excited. I think Serena Deeb is one of the best technical wrestlers for women, as far as like being a vet wise. Mercedes Martinez, another technical wrestler who is, I mean, I know that this match is going to be very technical. Both of these women have been in the wrestling world for a very, very long time, decades, 2 decades. And I'm excited to see this match. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. Of course, Mercedes Martinez became the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's World Championship when she defeated Deonna Purrazzo on May 4th, which was Nikki's birthday, for AEW in the main event. And I mean, since then, Mercedes has been holding this title, has been defending it, and has been winning. And now she's probably going to be basically facing one of her toughest opponents yet, which is Serena Deeb. And I mean, I know this match is going to be a banger, but I'm going to ride with Mercedes Martinez, OG Badass, all day. That's who I'm predicting to win, to retain her title at Death Before Dishonor. Stephanie, who do you think is going to win?
this is another one that's kind of hard to predict as well because they're so good. They're so good. Oh my god. But I'm predicting Mercedes Martinez as well because even though Serena Deeb is fantastic and gifted technically, I just feel like sometimes that is something that tends to blind her a bit. It's just she sort of it seems like she's a little bit entitled. She has a very entitled attitude about her that I just do not like. That it's just like that it's just kind of like, oh well, I've done this and I've trained this person and I know all of this other stuff, so that means, I'm worthy of this. And yes, I feel like there's a difference in believing you're worthy than feeling you're entitled to things. And honestly, I feel like that is what, ultimately takes Serena Deeb down a couple notches for me. So I'm predicting that Mercedes Martinez will take advantage of that and retain her title.
Awesome. Do you think there'll be any type of interferences or whatever? I mean, do you think there could be anybody lingering around wanting to find their way into interfering in this match, or attacking whoever the winner is or whoever the loser is? Do you think that could happen? Do we have any women out there who would want to, insert themselves in this somehow, some way?
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. It's possible. But
this is wrestling. You never know. If it's anything today has taught us is that you never know. Okay, so
you really don't. You really absolutely have absolutely no idea what could really transpire with anyone. But you guys, that does bring us to the end of our post show. Thank you guys, those who did stick around with us. Almost 2-hour stream, but you know what? It is what it is. We had to get this stuff done. This is what we do here at Women's Wrestling Talk. Just to give you a little bit of the rundown for the rest of the weekend over the weekend wise, of course, today is Saturday, July 23rd. It is still Santana Appreciation Month. Just because we're moving over into Leo season doesn't mean that you still don't stop appreciating me. So tonight, there will be a Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor post show with Nikki and I, and whoever chooses to hop in with us to discuss the aftermath of Ring of Honor's first pay-per-view since closing it up. And then we're going to, that's about it pretty much for Saturday. You can go back and watch all of our post shows, catch up on some of the news you may have missed on Twitch, because that's exclusive where we are. Then some of it is now on YouTube. On Sunday, we probably will be having a Turnbuckle Glam. I think so. I'm unsure. But I'm pretty sure by tomorrow, once we do the post show for Ring of Honor, that would definitely be announced if we are or will not be having a Turnbuckle Glam. In regards to moving over into the next week, of course, Monday, it is the news. Monday through Thursday is WWT Live. We have so many different Black podcasters, hosts come in and they share the news and talk about things. Sometimes it get a little spicy up in there, a little dicey, but it is what it is. You already know we're just having a good old time, having fun. And then, of course, on Monday, we have our going home show for Monday Night Raw, of course, with the short chickens, me and Nikki. On Tuesday, Edition Indies, and of course, Ms. and Mrs. take place later on that night. On Wednesdays is AEW Dynamite with Al, and who knows, Al may have a new host with her. She may or she may not. We are unsure as of right now. Surprises. On Thursday, of course, if you don't know, you already know, Stephanie and Katrina are doing NXT 2.0 and NXT UK post show. So definitely make sure you tune in for that. And then we do have Pre-Squad happening on this Thursday coming up too. So make sure you tune in for that. And then on later on within Thursday, we do have Impact post show. Well, of course, me and Nikki. And then on Friday, I won't be here because, it's SummerSlam weekend. So I will definitely be down there doing a lot of work and going to my first GCW show. So I'm very excited about that. And then, of course, on Saturday, it's SummerSlam. And there will be a post show for SummerSlam. There's some people who's going to come in, hang out with us. Me and Nikki and whoever else chooses to hop in. Stephanie, I think you're hopping in, aren't you? for SummerSlam.
Yes, I am hopping in for the SummerSlam after show.
For the SummerSlam post show. So I mean, I hope you're ready, Stephanie. It's gonna be a round wide because who knows the hell is gonna be the aftermath for SummerSlam. It could be a lot of things happening. We don't know, but whatever it is, we're thoroughly excited. And of course, rolling back around again. I think on that Sunday we'll probably have Turnbuckle Glam again. I'm still unsure. It's up to Nikki, who is now announcing the fact that is your new host of AEW Dynamite DMD for now. And of course, the post show for tomorrow happens at 11:30 Central. Don't forget. And then, of course, on for SummerSlam, it does happen at 11:30 that night. Well, no, it probably happened a little. Well, it depends on what time SummerSlam ends. When we go live, just know that we'll be here for it. But yeah,
but I do want to say this though. On next Friday, I won't be here either.
Well.
Yeah, I won't be here either because I'll be celebrating me and my boyfriend's 10th anniversary, so I won't be here either. So hopefully, we'll have other hosts. But San, what did you say?
I was like, come on, anniversary. But yeah. I love it. Awesome. So go ahead and let everyone know where they can follow you and keep up with you at and watch you maybe do your celebration.
Well, guys, you can, per usual, you guys know you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy, and also listen to my podcast, The Hardy Wrestling Podcast. There's 100 episodes for you to listen to. Now, this weekend, I will be at the Alabama Music Awards because the Hardy Wrestling Podcast is nominated for Alabama Podcast of the Year. I am nervous as heck, but I will still be posting pictures of me in my outfit and what I'll be wearing and stuff like that. So you'll see that, and I'm glad to be representing wrestling podcasts, in this space for the very first time. And of course, I'm going to probably release an episode this coming week because, a lot of stuff has gone down and I got stuff to say. So, but that's where you can catch me and follow me as well. One of my tweets was also featured on a Sports Illustrated article today as well, but it was for Triple H and not for the Vince McMahon drama. But that's what I've got going on. But you'll see me celebrating all kinds of things this coming week. So it's crazy, but my life is blessed, and that's all I can say.
Of course. Awesome. And of course, as for me, you already know, Google me, Drian Santana. You can find me all on social media platforms, especially on Google, because that is a platform, and that's where you got to search to find me at. Make sure you spell my name right. Otherwise, you're going to find a plane that I never knew existed, like I always say. Make sure you guys definitely keep up and tune in with Women's Wrestling Talk at WWE Talk Pod on all social media platforms and WWETalkPod.com. That's where we write all of the amazing articles at. So make sure you guys definitely read some of our articles. Check out some of my interviews on YouTube and on Twitch that are here, but preferably on YouTube because that's where all of our interviews are. Definitely stay tuned for some of the photos that we have in store for SummerSlam next week. It's a busy weekend. And I hope you guys stay tuned for it. So once again, thank you guys so much who stayed in with us and did the predictions with us and so on and so forth. We definitely appreciate it. And since we won't be here next Friday, we will definitely see you the Friday after next.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye,
Women's
y'all.
Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.